Today what we worked on was we worked on just kind of naming, doing some vocabulary with some things, and being able to identify the different parts, whether it was a radius, whether it was a central angle, whether it was an arc, secant, tangent, kind of did all of those things yesterday. Today what we're going to do is we're going to break that down into just going to look at central angles and arc measures today. And again, I've supplied you with this worksheet that I have up here. Just going to kind of use it for notes purposes as we're going through this. Whole goal by the end of today is for us to be able to take a problem, take a question, look at it, and be able to figure out, like this one right here, figure out what's the measure of each of those angles inside of that circle. And there are lots of them. So we want to be able to find all of these angles. What are the measures of those? But then we also want to be able to find the measures of each of these arcs that are created in here. And we're going to use this central angle piece of it to do this. So in order to do this, just again, we need to talk about what's a central angle. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. A central angle is an angle with its vertex at the center of the circle, and its two sides are radius. Okay, so a central angle is an angle whose vertex is at the center of the circle and its two sides are radius or radii, or however you plurally would say that. Probably just say radius or radii. I don't know. Whatever. We'll leave it as radius. Okay. So for example, angle ABC in that drawing to the left, which is this drawing right here, that's a central angle. I've got my two radii, A and B, and A and C. They form a vertex at the center of our circle B, and they create an angle measure. Okay. Now it says that this one's 84, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate what a central angle is, and we talked about that again yesterday as well. Okay. Now a couple things. Again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. We said the sum of all the central angles of a circle is going to be 360 degrees. So if we add up all of the angles that are in the center of that circle, they all have to add up to 360 degrees. Okay, so in this case, we really only have one angle in there, well, two, but we have one angle that's 84. If we look at this example here, which we'll do in just a minute, you'll notice there's an angle here, it's 122, there's an angle here, and there's another angle here. All of these have to add up to 360 degrees. It's the circle. So they have to add up to 360 degrees. Now here's the part of it that's important for today. The measure of the arc formed by the endpoints of a central angle is equal the measure of the arc formed by the endpoints of a central angle is equal to the measure of the central angle. So the measure of the arc is exactly the same as the measure of the central angle. They're exactly the same. The hard part about today is figuring out kind of all these little nuances today. And it's going to have to slow down today sometimes to help yourselves go a little bit faster. So if we look at this at the left, we've got arc AC. If we look at arc AC is right here. arc AC is formed by the central angle ABC. So that means that the measure of this arc AC is the same as the measure of the central angle that it created. So arc AC in this case is 84 degrees. It's the same as the measure of the central angle that created it. How do I know that it's created it? I kind of just follow it along. Here's my central angle. If I were to close the central angle, it would eat up the arc. Kind of think about it as the top of the ice cream cone. Okay, the arc is the ice cream. The angle is the cone. If that cone is in the middle, the ice cream is the same as the cone. This is the same. What you're going to find out later is if it's on it, we're actually going to have more ice cream than we have in the cone. But today it's just going to be the same. So what the second one says is, that's the first one, is 84. The second one says, what's the measure of arc ADC? So here's A, here's D, here's C. Well, if I know that this arc right here is 84, how many degrees are in a circle? 360. So ADC is going to be 360 minus the arc that I already have in there, which is 84. Siri, what's 360 minus 84?
360 minus 84 is 276.
So the measure of that arc is 276 degrees. So this arc is 276 degrees. But it also means that that angle right there, that angle is 276 degrees as well. Okay. Key thing with the definitions here, two things with this. The central angle is the same as the arc that it creates. To go around it, it's 360 degrees. Okay, so now let's look at just a bunch of examples and use some of the other things that we know to help us with more complex questions like this one. So when we did some problems earlier in the year, I said, let's fill out the problem before we know what the questions are. So there are questions over there, and you guys are going to be able to see the questions. What is arc ST? What is arc RS? You can see all of those things. My challenge to you is to ignore what the questions are, and let's fill in the stuff that we can fill in, and then answer the questions later. Because sometimes the questions get a little confusing because it may ask for something. The first question might be to find something that's 4 steps away. But if we just look at the picture and say, all right, let's figure out what we can figure out, and then go back and do the questions. That's how I like to do these. I think it works best. So if I look at this question, I've got 122 there. That 122 creates this cone. That cone is in the center. That cone creates this ice cream, this arc. The cone and the ice cream are exactly the same. So I know that this arc has to be 122 degrees. The first thing I know. Now I look and see if there's anything else that I can figure out from this, and just from what we've known in the past, what we've talked about in the past. If I look at this angle right here, angle SQR, I notice that these two angles form a linear pair. What's the sum of a linear pair? 180 degrees. So I know these two angles together have to add up to 180. So if I take 180 minus 122, which is 58, I know the measure of that central angle has to be 58. So now that cone is 58. It creates the ice cream SR, the arc SR. So SR has to be 58 as well. Okay, well now I only have one arc left. The only arc I have left is kind of this piece right here. Technically there should be another letter in there, but let's say it's M. That's the only arc that I have left is RMT. So what do all of these have to add up to?
360.
360. If I add those two together, I know they already add up to 180, right? So what's 360 minus 180? Just 180. Okay, so now I know the measure of this arc right here. That has to be 180 degrees as well. Can anybody think of another reason why I would know that?
Is that half of 360?
It's half of 360. Plus, this is a diameter, isn't it? RT creates a semicircle, and half of a semicircle is 180 degrees. Okay, now we can go answer the questions. I probably answered too much, but ST is 122. RS is 58. SRT. So here's S, and this is where these get a little confusing, and that's why I like to do these. It's SRT is what we're looking for. So how I determine what SRT is I put my pencil on S. The next letter that I get to has to be R. If I go this way, I hit T first. I can't do that. I have to hit R first. So there's R, and there's T. So now I need to take 58 and 180 and do what with them? Subtract them or add them? Add them. So if I take 158, 122, nope. 58 plus 180, I get 200 and, hey Siri, what's 58 plus 180?
58 plus 180 is 238.
So the measure of that arc is 238 degrees. Okay. You have to take your time on these questions, and you have to look and see exactly what you have from information that you know from the past. Okay, so let's look at number 2. And you look at number 2, it's got a ton of questions over there. Okay, but let's just look at the picture. Okay, so as I'm looking at the picture, the first thing I notice is I notice this 21 right there. 21 is formed by this cone. This cone creates that arc. So that arc has to be 21. I notice that these two form a linear pair. Everybody see that? They form a straight line. So if I take 180 minus 21, 180 minus 21, 159. I think that's what it is. That's 159 degrees. So that angle, that cone, creates that arc. So I can also put 159 out there. Now, these two form a linear pair, but what else do we know? What type of angles are this one and this one? Vertical angles. And what do we know about vertical angles? They're congruent. Very good. So I know this is 21. So if that's 21, that makes ML 21. I can also do the same thing for this 159 and this angle N right here, right? They're vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. So that has to be 159, making that arc probably 159. It all works. If we added that all up, it's going to be 360 degrees. Now we go answer the questions. JK. We go from J to K. 21. Angle JNM. So there's angle J. There's point J, point N, and point M. That's this angle right here. What's the measure of that angle? 159. I go to KL. Here's K, Here's L. Now my question, look up here. How did I know that I had to go this direction instead of this direction?
Because you look up, it has a little circle.
Okay, it has a little circle in it. Remember we talked yesterday about minor arcs. Minor arcs are less than 180, and minor arcs are named with 2. Semicircles or major arcs are greater than 180. So this is less than that, so this is 159. JKM.
201.
Oops, I think I read that wrong. It's arc JKM. So there's J, there's K, so there's 21, there's 159, and there's another 21. So if I take 21 plus 159 plus 21, that's going to give me that arc. 201 is what that adds up to. And then the last one is MLK. There's M, there's L, so there's 21. Get to K, there's another 159. So 21 plus 159 is 180. So there are our solutions, and we're done. Okay. Step by step by step. Did we take a little bit longer on this side to do things? Sure, we did. But if we would have not done all of that, and we would have got to like question number 3, like this one right here, the third question in that, it's going to be hard to do, especially the fourth one. Okay, do it all first, and then let's go from there. Okay, questions with that one? All right, getting harder, kind of, but not bad. Let's look at number 3. So I've got this is 87. So what does that tell me? What arc? What arc do I know if I know this angle is 87? TU. Very good. What's TU going to be? 87. Very good. Okay, so I know that one. The only other thing I know on here is the 72. The 72 is the measure of the arc, right? It's the measure of the ice cream. Well, the ice cream is the same as the cone. So follow the ice cream down. If we follow the ice cream down, that makes that one 72 degrees.
And UV is 7 plus 1.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yep, that has to be the same because if you notice, if I extend my cone, it hits both of those. So that's got to be 72, making that 72. So let's look at, I think this one's not too bad. These two form a linear pair, right? They form this straight line. So what do these two have to add up to?
180.
180. So 180 minus 72 is 108, making this arc 108. And this last one's kind of the hardest one, but all 3 of those right there,
21.
they have to add up to what though?
180.
They have to add up to 180. So if I go 180 minus 87 minus 72, I get what?
21.
21. Oops, I got to write with a pen instead. So that's still not writing with a pen. So that's 21, and that's 21, sorry. That's 21. So now we've got everything filled out. We've got all that junk filled out. It's not junk, it's good stuff, but now we answer the questions. And I got to zoom out here a little bit. So I'm going to take my pen. You can take, so I've got U, X, V. What's the measure of UXV? 72. Arc ST, 21. Nice job. Oops, I'm not marking a pin again. 21. Arc WV,
108.
108. Very good. And again, if you're having trouble finding them, put it on W and find where V goes to. Now we've got TW.
93.
Okay, and be careful with TW. TW, if you go there, it's T. Got to add them up. 93.
Yeah.
And I know it's got to be less than 180 because it's just 2 of them. And then the last one is TVW. Do I go clockwise or counterclockwise? I got to go clockwise. So I've got 87, I've got 72, and I've got 108. What do I have to do with those three things? Add them up. So that's 180.
That's how I do it.
Hey Siri, what's 87 plus 72 plus 108?
267.
87 plus 72 plus 108 is 267.
There's your answer.
I do.
Okay. How we doing? We good so far?
My word.
Okay. Why don't you work with partner, work by yourself, whichever you prefer to do. Why don't you give number 4 a shot? See if you can figure out number 4. Remember what that little box means.
Scale a little bit for this one. G. Like this, right? Cause does the half, that's 180, what's the half of 180? 90, and it's the same, so 90. Oh, question like that. G. Damn, that's all the way around.
Does that look right?
You fucking
Language.
fucking DC it out of the Wait. Wait. I think I did it wrong.
So if you peek up, if you're having trouble with the drawing, you want to see if you're right, I have the drawing up there, the angles
270.
and the arcs on there.
G. GTF.
All right, let's go through the answers. CD, what's CD?
90.
Everybody okay with 90? FD, where's F at? F is going to be 34 plus 90? Is that right?
Yeah.
120, 124? DCF, there's D, there's C, ooh, there's F.
270.
There's 90, 90. What's this one right here?
Oh no, that's 301.
That's 56, right? So it's 90 plus 90 plus 56.
It's 90 plus 90. I gotta be that wrong.
Is this 56? That's 56, isn't it? So am I doing it right? DCF. So that's 136, 236? 236. And the last one is GDF. Where's F at? Oh, wait. So it's all of this, right?
Yeah.
So I could do 360 minus
It's a good 304.
56, right? Or I could add them all up. Doesn't matter. Either way, you get 304. Questions with that one?
I quit. I dropped out.
Is this the one you have? Is this the one you guys have
Yeah.
on the back? All right. Do we need to do one more, or is everybody comfortable doing these? Everybody's comfortable doing these? Okay, there's your assignment for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Work together. If you have questions as you're going along, make sure you ask. Great job. Great job, everybody. Nicely done.